Hi, this is my DPP 3 educational policy presentation. The case study aims are to define and explain the significance of educational policy, to analyse the alignment between SEND policy objectives and professional practice, to evaluate the effectiveness of strategies used to implement and monitor the SEND policy from my own experiences and observations, and to reflect on personal and professional growth resulting from understanding and implementing SEND policy, and to explore how this knowledge can be utilised to improve future professional practice. So educational policy is defined as principles, regulations and laws created by political authorities and educational institutions to form and manage the educational system. The curriculum, funding distribution, teacher training and student welfare are all examples of topics covered by educational policy. So the importance of educational policy is that it establishes rules, procedures and quality standards for learning and safety. It provides a framework for smooth school operation. It's for staff, students, parents and external providers. It provides guidelines for staff, for teaching practices, professional conduct and administrative procedures, and for students it creates safe and supportive learning environments and sets expectations for behaviour and academic achievement, and for parents it's for understanding schools' approach, communication channels and avenues for involvement. An overview of SEND policies, it's a framework designed to support children and young people with special educational needs. It provides tailored support and interventions, recognises the rights of SEND students to access education, promotes inclusive practices and removes learning barriers, and contributes to an equitable, inclusive education system. The specific SEND policy I'm focusing on is the SEND Code of Practice 0 to 25 years 2015, as it gives local governments, educational institutions and other settings statutory guidelines on how to support and meet the requirements of children and young people with SEND. The SEND Code of Practice outlines legal requirements for identifying, assessing and supporting SEND students, including EHC plans, the rules of the SEND Co and the importance of collaboration between schools, parents and agencies, and it also highlights how crucial it is to support inclusive practices and guarantee equal access to education and learning and development opportunities for SEND students. So the rationale for the SEND Code of Practice 0 to 25 years is that it addressed criticisms of the previous system, which was seen as complicated and not focusing on SEND students. It aims to increase learners' potential with 1 in 5 individuals with SEND and 2.8% with complex needs identified, and it aimed to facilitate a seamless transition from children to adult services, to provide easier support and develop fairer funding arrangements, and was introduced in September of 2014. It also links to other legislation such as the Education, Health and Care Plans, Equality Act 2010 and the Education Act of 1996. This legislation forms a framework that underscores the importance of inclusivity and equitable education opportunities for all students regardless of their diverse needs or background. So the SEND Code of Practice impact on professional practice. Some examples are schools must identify and address pupils' special educational needs. Teachers should offer individualised and differentiated instruction to meet the needs of all children, and schools have duties under the Equality Act of 2010 to prevent disadvantage, promote equality and foster good relations, just to name a few. So I did my placement at Mundella, and this is an evaluation of Mundella's SEND Information Report. So the SEND Information Report highlights the importance of individualised support for students, moving away from the traditional approach where learning is the same for all students. This fosters an inclusive environment and a sense of belonging. They also have support staff to collaborate with teachers to provide individualised support and specialist interventions. Over-reliance on support staff may create dependency among children with SEND. However, Mundella's policy states that support staff should only be involved when necessary. Despite all staff having training and awareness of SEND topics, not all have training in how to positively handle or de-escalate challenging behaviour, which could lead to confusion among students if there's inconsistencies in handling their challenging behaviour. However, overall, Mundella has a positive approach towards facilitating an inclusive environment for students with special educational needs and disabilities, as highlighted in the most recent Ofsted report. So one observation I had at the school was a teacher had a generic cricket plan, which was unhelpful because it had little to no differentiation, which led to disengagement from most of the students, including some SEND students. They were told to do the same bowling drill in small groups, throwing a wicket from the same distance, which was hard for one student in particular with autism who struggled with motor ability. So this teacher did not abide by the SEND policy in Teacher Standards 5, as they clearly did not have a clear understanding of the needs of all pupils, including those with special educational needs. The differentiation was generic and could have been more individualised towards a SEND student if they planned the lesson themselves. They also didn't abide to York and Knight's aspects of employability, as they did not adapt the lesson when they saw the child disengaging, and problem solving, as they did not utilise further differentiation to engage the SEND student. Instead, the teacher should have differentiated the lesson using the STEP model, which involves manipulating the space, task, equipment and people, simply altering the space and decreasing the distance for throwing or changing the task, such as throwing to a person first and then advancing to a wicket, would have made this more inclusive. Another observation was there was an orienteering lesson where the students had maps of the playground with mark spots to navigate around and find, and these were things such as outdoor shelters or goalposts. One student had autism and dyslexia who benefited from visual aids and coloured paper, so the teacher created a simplified map and made it blue so that it was easier for the student to read. They also used visual aids and such as small pictures of the landmarks on the map rather than dots, as they found this easier. Furthermore, when the student was struggling, the teacher used peck rings with the landmarks on, which the student used in their daily routine, as it was familiar and offered clear visual instructions. This was a demonstration towards Standard 1, as she understood the needs of all of the pupils, including those with special educational needs. By creating the simplified map and tailored visual aids, the teacher showed adaptability and inclusivity with Standard 4. Additionally, the use of visual aids to support comprehension aligns with the promotion of high standards of literacy as emphasised in Standard 3. They also abided by York and Knight's aspects of employability as they showed creativity when designing the individualised map. So through my exploration of the SEND Code of Practice 2015 and inclusive pedagogical strategies, I've gained valuable insights into the importance of personalised support and inclusive teacher practices. This commitment aligns closely with teacher standards, particularly Standard 5, which emphasises the importance of understanding pupils' needs and adapting teaching accordingly. Additionally, by incorporating aspects of employability highlighted by York and Knight, such as adaptability and communication, into my teaching practice, I aim to enhance my effectiveness as an educator and better support the diverse needs of my students. Ultimately, by embracing inclusive pedagogical strategies informed by the SEND Code of Practice, I inspire to foster a positive learning environment where every student feels valued, supported and empowered to succeed academically. And here are my references. Thank you for listening.